Hello, today I'll be reading pages 8 and 9 of The Hobbit. I hope it's not. Thought a cake or two and a drink of something would do him good after his fright. Gandalf, in the meantime, was still standing outside the door and laughing long but quietly. After a while, he stepped up and laughing long but quietly. After a while, he stepped up and he read that with the spike on his staff, scratched a queer sign on the Hobbit's beautiful green front door. Then he strode away just about the time. Then he strode away just about the time. Just about the time when Bilbo was finishing his second cake and beginning to think that he had escaped adventures very well. The next day he had almost forgotten about Gandalf. He did not remember things very well unless you put them down on his engagement tablet. Like this, Gandalf T. Wednesday. Yesterday he had been too flustered to do anything of the kind. Just before tea time, there came a tremendous ring on the front doorbell. And then he remembered. He rushed and put on the kettle and put another cup and saucer and an extra cake or two and ran to the door. I am so sorry to keep you waiting. He was going to say when he saw it was that it was not Gandalf at all. It was a dwarf with a blue beard tucked into a golden belt, very bright eyes under his dark green hood. As soon as the door opened, he pushed it inside, just as if he had been expected. He hung the hooded cloak on the nearest peg, and Dwalin at your service, he said with a low bow. Bilbo Baggins at yours, said the hobbit, too surprised to ask any questions for the moment. When the silence that had followed had become uncomfortable, he added, I am just about to, perhaps, but he meant it kindly. I'm just about to take tea. Pray come and have some with me. A little stiff, perhaps, but he meant it kindly. And what would you do if an uninvited dwarf came and hung his things up in your hall without a word of explanation? They had not been at table long. In fact, they had hardly reached the third cake when there came another even louder ring at the bell. Excuse me, said the hobbit. Off he went to the door. So you have got here at last. That was not what he was going to say to Gandalf this time. But it was not Gandalf. Instead, there was a very old dwarf on the step with a white beard and a scarlet hood. Yeah, we're off page 8 now. We're on page 9. And he too hopped inside as soon as the door was open, just as if he had been invited. I see they have begun to arrive already, I said. He said when he caught sight of Dwalin's green hood hanging up. He hung his red one next to it, and Balin, I guess, at your service, he said with his hand on his breast. Thank you, said Bilbo, with a gasp. It was not the correct thing to say, but they have begun to arrive. But they have begun to arrive had flustered him badly. He likely he liked visitors, but he liked to know them before they arrived, and he preferred to ask them himself. He had a horrible thought that the cakes might run short, and then he, as the host, he knew his duties and stuck to it, however painful. He might have to go without. Come along in and have some tea, he managed to say after taking a deep breath. A little beer would suit me better, if it is all the same, don't same to you, my good sir, said Ballin. I'm not calling Ballin. Yeah, because he's Ballin. With the white beard, I don't mind some cake, sea cake if you have any. Lots, Bilbo found himself answering to his own surprise, and he found himself scuttling off to the he found himself scuttling off to the cellar to fill a pint beer mug, and then to a pantry to fetch two beautiful round seed cakes which he had baked that afternoon for his after supper morsel. When he got back, Balin and Dwalin were talking at the table like old friends. As a matter of fact, they were brothers. Bilbo plumped down the beer and the cake in front of them when loud came a ring at the bell again, and then another ring. Gandalf for certain this time, he thought as he passed along the passage, but it was not. It was two more dwarfs, both with blue hoods, silver belts, and yellow beards, and each of them carried a bag of tools and spade. In they hopped as soon as the door began to open. Bilbo was hardly surprised at all. "What can I do for you, my dwarfs?" he said. "Killy at your service," said the one, and Filly added the other, and they both swept off their blue hoods and bowed at yours and your families, replied Bilbo, remembering his manners this time. "Thank you." So maybe not the best time to bring this up, but spoilers. This has major spoilers for pages 8 and 9.